What have you overheard that made you laugh, or what have you said that made a stranger laugh? While shopping with my 6-year-old daughter, another mother was having a little trouble controlling her son. So, she kept yelling at him. His name was Marco, and every time she yelled Marco, my little girl responded Polo. All through the store, many strangers laughed. I have a friend named Marco. When I first met him, I couldn't help but do exactly that. I did not make a good first impression. I was walking around campus and caught the end of a conversation two guys were having. Yep man, these pants are like a wonder bra for your butt. I was sitting at a bar when a guy came in and sat down a few chairs away. He was friends with the bartender, who was wearing an orange shirt and a white tie. The guy stared at his phone for a few minutes and looked at the bartender, and out of nowhere says quite loudly, "Dude, you look like a freaking creamsicle." I don't know why I laughed so hard. On a semi-related note, if you go to a store with the fountain drink machines that offer flavor shots such as cherry, lime, vanilla, and lemon, Sunkist, orange soda, and vanilla shot tastes like a dreamsicle in cup. I had been meaning to tell people this, and for some reason this seemed like my best opportunity. So there I am running all around my house throwing dried coyote urine everywhere like a crazy woman. Overheard in a restaurant. Woman to her co-workers. Apparently she had a raccoon problem. There's a set of identical twins that come into my store now and again. I mean, so identical I thought they were the same person till I saw them both together. Really cool guys. Anyways, I'm bringing them up when an older lady behind them says, "You two look a lot alike. Are you related?" The twins look at each other, look at the lady, and in a deadpan delivery they must have spent their whole lives perfecting, they both say, "Yeah, we're cousins." Honestly, one of the best laughs of my life. Me and my brother have done that. No one laughed though. I had to go to magistrate court because of a ticket. While waiting in the hallway, I hear one lawyer say to another that he is so good he could plead a sodomy charge down to a ticket for following too close. Should have got his card. Once, while giving evidence in court against a lady who was part of a theft gang, I stated I was sure the defendant had ID'd me while covertly following her. The judge inquired as to how I knew she was aware of me, and I replied, "Because when she turned to look my way, I exposed myself to her." The defense face palmed. The prosecution stared blankly. The judge just leaned towards me, peering over his reading glasses, and I just stood there with this matter-of-fact look. Then it hit me. I waited till the case was finished and every single person who exited that courtroom came out and laughed their butt off. The judge and I became good acquaintances, and I became a hit at work. One of my majors in college was anthropology. During one course, everyone in the class was put in pairs for a mandatory team project. The guy I was stuck with was an idiot, did no work, and then claimed a bunch of the research I had done was his. Since we got a good grade regardless, and since I am completely non-confrontational due to social anxiety, I didn't do anything about it. Well, the next semester, I'm sitting in the main university building, all the conference areas, bookstore, food courts, etc., eating lunch and reading, and this butthole sits himself down at my table. Apparently he's taking another anthropology course and wants me to do his dang work again, and starts demanding information about early human history. So I just start making up the wildest bulls I can possibly come up with. I recall that I included something about humans first arriving in the Americas hundreds of thousands of years ago on enormous paddle boats made of sticks and reeds and powered by slaves who had to pedal constantly for weeks lest everyone die, as well as the long and painful history of the Neanderthal Wars. Meanwhile, the moron is eating this all up and scribbling notes the whole time. After about 10 minutes of this, he says he has enough and that he has to go type all this up since the assignment is due in a few hours. But no thank you or anything. He just takes off. I watch him walk away, sort of smile and say aloud to myself, "You can have all the credit for that one, you dong." At that point, I hear someone clapping from the table next to mine. I look over to see two professors sitting there eating their lunch. One is grinning and clapping. The other is laughing so hard he's not even making noise, just bright red in the face, wheezing, with tears running down his face. TLDR, butthole stole credit for a project in college. Got revenge when he demanded I do his research again for a paper he was doing in another class, and I proceeded to give him a heaping pile of ridiculous bulls. was applauded by 2 nearby professors who overheard. And the best part is frick that guy. I was in the bathroom at work, posted in front of a urinal making my piddles when I heard from the stall next to me a dad and his son. His dad goes, "Wait until I take your pants off. You don't wanna poop yourself." The kid replies in a confident, low-toned confession, "I pooping myself. I lost it. Making my piddles." 3. My roommates and I used to argue about the same goddamn thing every time we went to the dining hall. If my roommate Mike could beat a cheater in a fight. One day we're sitting around arguing about it, and we start getting vocal. Something along the lines of this was said, "I swear dude I could take him. I'd just juke him out, then uppercut him in the soft underbelly. Cheaters are made for speed. I'd crush a rib with a punch, then wear him like a pelt." It was at that point we hear all the tables around us start laughing. We realize that everyone has been listening in, and started having a dining hall wide discussion on if Mike could best a cheater in the gentlemanly sport of fisticuffs. I'd say that's ridiculous, but I've had a conversation in which the conclusion was that the best way to fight off a cougar is to punch it in the kidneys. I'm on a packed bus, and this random guy squeezes his way through the crowd to get to me and asks if he could ask me a question. I say sure, and he goes, "So, are you Asian or Japanese?" I kinda stare at him dumbfounded for a second, and I reply back, a little bit of both." He nods his head like it's totally what he expected and squeezes his way back to his spot. People around just had the expression of lolwood. "I'm Korean. BTW. You failed the test. You were not the contact he was waiting for." I told my roommate I eat all her tuna when she's in class, and a kind gentleman standing nearby thought this was dang near the funniest thing he's ever heard. Can't tell if he thought it was an innuendo of some sort, but I just really like tuna. Tuna is definitely an innuendo for lady parts. Leaving the vet with my cat. The vet tech brought him out front after drawing some blood and told me they had to put a new towel in his carrier because he had an accident on his own. They gave me the peed-on towel in a plastic bag. Vet tech walks away and I say to the cat, because who doesn't talk to their cat, "That wasn't an accident, was it?" It was on purpose. As I was leaving, I noticed a guy waiting with his dog laughing. "This isn't strangers on a train. I'm not killing your nan for you," said by one of my fellow students to his equally meek and scared looking friend. I was walking along the street with my 7-year-old daughter and I was telling her she needed to clean her room. Me otherwise, you know that means. Her I know. It's flogging day. The elder man in front of me stops, turns around to see me grinning and completely busts a gut laughing. Wasn't overheard. I was in a college class, and we were doing research presentations. The one presenter got up and gave this opening. "My presentation is about domestic abuse, but in cases of men being abused, I feel that the issue of domestic abuse against women has been beaten to death." I lost it, laughing hysterically. Not a single other person in the class laughed. Apparently the person giving the presentation didn't do it on purpose to be funny, and didn't really realize what they said or why I was laughing. I got more than a few glares from other people in that class. Similar situation. The lecturer comes out with, "Now, you need to get a license to shoot kids." She stopped and realized what she had said and we all laughed. When I used to live in NorCal, I used to have dreaders and a beard. One hot summer day went floating down the Sac River with some friends. It was a long float and I got separated from the group since I went for a dip. I take out a mason jar from my backpack that I always put my keys and smokes in and light up a cigarette. There is a group of sorority girls a bit of away from me, and since sound travels further on water I could pretty much hear all they were saying. I can hear they are talking about me and one of them says to another, "Maybe the nice Rasta man will share a joint with us." I bust out laughing and she instantly turns red. It was funnier to me cause even though I looked the part, never smoked that stuff. From that day on I was always a nice Rasta man when we went floating. Till there are people with dreadlocks who have never smoked weed. On a train to Northampton, a family obviously coming back from holiday, tired of sick. Little girl borrows mum's iPad for a book to read. Entire section goes quiet for this perfect moment. "Mum, What's 50 shades of grey? I'll lose it. Guy opposite me loses it. The dad loses it. Mother is horrified. Girl is confused. Rest of train journey was 4-5 guys giving the dad style looks, causing us all to laugh again. My boss and one of his colleagues are both completely bald. One day while I was in his office, the guy called him. My boss picks up the phone and very enthusiastically says, "Hey John, long time no hair." Two construction workers around dusk were packing up their work truck and getting ready to part ways as they headed home. As they leave, one of them turns to the other and said, "Say hi your wife and my kids for me." The proper comeback is, "Well, the wife's fine but the kids are retarded." I was outside a bar in NYC with my GF, who is tall, and her cousin who I met that day. Her cousin asks me, "Does it bother you that she's taller than you in heels?" To which I said no. I figure anyone that sees me with her must think I either have a huge dong or a shitton of money. Random guy to our left bursts out laughing. I once heard a woman on a train telling her friend that her cat had started yowling the way they do when they've caught something. She went to investigate and the cat was standing proudly over a half defrosted pork chop that it had stolen from a neighboring house. I didn't even pretend I wasn't eavesdropping, I just lost it. I had a cat that would sneak into neighboring houses and steal their cat toys. We found stashes of them in our basement. No idea how or why she was doing it, except she was a crazy. I wasn't the brightest in high school. Once in English class, the topic of art versus pornography came up and the whole class was discussing it. Someone said, "So how do you tell the difference between art and smut?" Without thinking, I blurted out, "It's hard." Whole class loses it. Even the teacher was laughing so hard he had to wipe away tears. And I'm just sitting there, trying to keep my best poker face. I was at a music festival where everyone was camping in tents. I was going back to mine for the night and I overheard these two guys in their tent who had to have been on something. First guy, "Dude, my hand is like chrome." Second guy, "Whoa, it totally wouldn't be gay if I kissed you." Made no sense but I lost it. They were high, dude. Took my son into the Target bathroom, he's 2 at the time, and after hearing a woman really let go in the stall next to us, he shouted, "Say excuse me." Luckily, she thought it was hilarious. Last week, in a bakery getting coffee, guy comes in with his infant son and 4-year-old daughter. Daughter is apparently in that phase when kids talk constantly, and she is sharing her thoughts and observations in a constant stream of near babble. He says they can have 1 cookie each after dinner. He lets them pick their cookies, and on the way out the door, I overhear the following: "Daddy, can I eat my cookie now?" Well, it's 4:45, which means it's almost 5, which means that when we get home mommy and I are going to start preparing dinner, and I don't want you to spoil your appetite. The daughter responds in the most heartfelt tone imaginable, "No daddy, you don't understand. I'll eat it fast." I bust out laughing at the 4-year-old logic. Perfect logic. Walking through the mall, guys walking next to each other. One's on the phone, others anticipating some news. "Alright, yeah, we'll be over around 8 inches." Hangs up. "Threesomes on my dude." "Sharty anus," said the second dude. They high five, walk off. I urinate in my pants. I felt the need to ask my boyfriend the most stupid question I have ever asked anyone in my life, whilst waiting to cross a road in central London, so there were lots of people around. I said, "Have you ever dong slapped me?" very loudly. My boyfriend didn't hear me, but a dude close by heard. I could see his shoulders shaking with laughter, and my boyfriend just kept going, "What? What did you say? Is that guy laughing at us? So humiliating." Dropping my kids off at school, 2 little girls, 8 or 9 years old, were talking. I overheard this little snippet. So my dad says, "But why did you have to hurt your friend?" And I said I didn't have to, I wanted to. I unknowingly tagged along to a costume party with a buddy of mine. I thought he was just doing it because that's who he is. I get to the door and the guy puts his hand out stopping me and says, "Woo, what the heck are you supposed to be?" Only thing that came to my mind, I'm premature ejaculation. I came in my pants. He let me in for free. So I go to a pretty hippie college. I was walking out of the cafeteria today and overheard two freshman girls saying, "Let's just keep going, we're here already. I don't know why these tables and chairs are freaking me out." LSD, not even 23 times, man. I was at an Arby's with my girlfriend and a friend we had visiting. We were done ordering and our friend goes up to the counter and rather than asking for horsey sauce, he asks for horse sauce. My girlfriend then comes up behind him over his right shoulder and whispers loudly, "Did you just ask for W sauce?" Because I find that highly inappropriate. The cashier just lost it. They were still laughing by the time we got our food and left. I walk up to a table to ask the people if they are ready to order and hear their daughter say, "I'm 16. I know where babies come from," and I just freaking lost it. I was at a gay pride festival with some friends, one of whom had never heard of the "Are you nervous" game, where you slowly inch your hand towards their crotch boobs and ask if they're nervous. So, naturally, we were teaching her, but instead of playing the normal way, I grabbed her boob and cleverly shouted, "Haha, I just grabbed your boob." The pair of old lesbians walking by lost their crap. We call this fire truck. Was on a city bus late at night. Everyone was very quiet, and it was an electric bus too, so no engine noise. Suddenly this old black guy says loudly, "Man, it is quiet enough to hear a mouse fart." Overheard waiting in line at Target. 12-year-old boy, "Dad, hurry up, I'm prairie dogging it." Dad tells him to quiet down, and boys say something to the effect that nobody would even know what that means. Dad looks back at me and my huge smile and says, "She knows." I nodded gleefully. Boy turned Saru red. I took a girl out to see Machine Gun Preacher in theaters. Twist ending. She was actually really adamant about the plight of child soldiers and it ended up being a good choice for a date. WTF. And next to me was an old lady, probably around 75 or 80. We get to the part where a child soldier is used as a trap and someone attempts to snipe the main character from far off. And I hear this gem from the old lady. "That was a trick of the trade." And then, silence. No explanation. No context. Apparently that was a trick of the trade. To this day, me and the girl I was with talk about how old people know all the tricks of the trade. My boyfriend tricked me into watching that movie because he claimed it was going to be filled with B-movie ridiculousness. I hadn't heard of it, and had images of Planet Terror-styled preaching. It was not that at all. Once in an economics lesson we were discussing imports and exports, specifically the Netherlands and their export of flowers. Upon hearing this, one of the stupid girls in our class blurted out, "What? The Netherlands?" I thought that was from Peter Pan. Even the teacher was in stitches. Their export of flowers. My inner Canadian urges me to apologize for correcting you, but my inner grammar Nazi is working the keys. I spent a week in Turks and Caicos by myself. Met lots of people, had a lot of fun. The last night we all stayed up to watch the sun come up, so I was exhausted for the flight home. When I get back stateside, the customs agent asks, "Did you pick up anything in Turks and Caicos that you are bringing into the United States?" Without even thinking I reply, "I hope not." I didn't even realize it until he just burst out laughing and then rephrased the question to, "Did you bring back any alcohol or tobacco products?" I really wish I could be that funny on purpose, but unfortunately I am not. I was talking with my friend about college and possible careers while we were on the bus. I told my friend I wanted to be a mattress tester when I grow up. I know this is unrealistic since robots took that job. The man sitting in front of us just burst out laughing. I was at Home Depot one time and it was a very nice day, so I'm out in the outside garden section looking at plants and such, contemplating my lack of landscaping. There was a black gentleman there with his white girlfriend or wife. So he is pushing a flatbed cart filled with mulch and she's just standing there blocking his way. He says, "Excuse me," but she stays put. He says it again and she looks up at him and starts talking to him about a plant. Then he goes, "Honey, get out of the way. It's sunny, and I'm black. We people get hot." I started laughing. He looks over at me and goes, "What? It's true. Lost it. Too funny." One day at Hobby Lobby, I was looking at model cars with my boyfriend. There was a VW Beetle, so I punched him and yelled, "Slug bug." No tag backs. Lady behind us just cracks up laughing, then told me it didn't count. It feels good to make strangers laugh, even accidentally. Whoa, I've never heard it like that. It's punch buggy, no punch back here. A couple weeks ago I was in the grocery store with my boyfriend. I went to get some milk and he yelled to me, "Make sure you get a good date." And I replied, "I dunno. I think you're pretty good." Apparently a grandma and a man in his 30s commented to him on my quick wit. The old lady said I get extra points. If I heard that I think I'd smile like an idiot for a year. I was in the supermarket. Didn't have much in my basket. It's rush hour and all the lanes were jammed. I'm waiting in line. I look to my left and it appears there's only one person in line. There's two people in front of me. I move over to that lane. Crap, it's an old lady with her cart jammed full of stuff. She'll be lucky to be out the door in a half hour. I turn around to go back to my old line just as some dude is taking my previous spot. He looks at me. He knows what happened. I think he would have let me in if I asked, but he didn't have much more than I did. So I just shrugged and said, "Gambled and lost." He laughed. TD. Bro moment. I was once waiting outside a dressing room while my GF was taking 6 hours to try on 2 pairs of pants. So there I was, waiting, watching her purse, when I see an older gentleman standing near me doing the exact same thing. We made eye contact for a second, and I let out a sigh. He chuckled and shook his head. Also a bro moment. Our school and another school shared buses due to the proximity of the two schools. So I'm on the bus with my friends one day when we overhear a guy from the other school say, "So you flop your dong out." At that point he realized he had an audience and stopped talking, before we cracked up at what we just overheard. My friends and I were in Vegas, and we had been killing some time playing some 5-cent video poker, one of the variants which is called Juice is Wild. Anyways, we left to go to another casino, and as we passed a bathroom, one of my friends stopped and announced, "Hang on guys. Juice is Wild." There was a father with a young kid who was nearby who could not help bursting into laughter with the rest of us as my friend ran into the bathroom with a goofy look. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.